Now let me get to this question in the chat. Dot S asks, do you have any tips for overcoming a fear of writing? My son has wonderful ideas for stories, but gets anxious when he tries to write them down. That, Dot, is a wonderful question, because I think it's actually much more common than you might think. One interesting thing that can happen is that people who are very freewheeling in writing a story out loud, or not writing a story, but telling a story out loud, when they're faced with the task of putting that story on paper, they become inhibited because the paper implies, maybe it implies the necessity of correctness. Maybe it implies a kind of formality that is inhibiting. And so, Dot, one of the things I often suggest to people who have a fear of writing is that they can start by telling stories out loud rather than writing it down. Maybe they should maybe they have a friend and like they can make a game of it and tell each other stories. Maybe they give each other, here's a favorite thing I like to do. You might find some interesting everyday object like a stone or a potted plant and say, oh, write a story about that stone or write a story about that plant. And you might even try something which is called timed writing, very sort of self-explanatory term, where you give yourself 5 minutes on a timer and say, okay, for 5 minutes, I'm going to make up a story about a stone, and I'm just going to go until the timer goes off. What this does is encourages us to be freewheeling about our creativity. And so you can do that out loud, and then all you really have to do is take the story that you told out loud and then write it down. And at first, I really encourage people not to worry about grammar. That may seem strange. Here I am, Ask Cozy Grammar. But in writing a story down, don't worry about the grammar. Don't even worry about correctness. Worry about the feeling of the story you want to tell. Get that feeling as best as you can on the page. And once the whole story is down, then you can go back and look at the sentences and make sure that they're saying what you mean for them to say. And this is where the language of grammar, to come back to the question that was asked earlier, the language of grammar can be very helpful, because it's at this point that you can use grammar to help you clean your sentences up, or to make sure the sentences are saying what you want them to say, and so that your reader is hearing what you want your reader to hear. So I hope, Dot, that that's helpful.